last year was my longest shot, and it was 22 yards.
Spotted him at 8 in the morning, and I shot him at 4:30.
You know, hunting blacktails growing up, we'd have, you know, the whole family would be around.
Yeah.
It was a big event.
These trophy animals, especially sheep and goat, because it gets virtually no pressure.
I would have shot him, and I've shot lots of bucks, you know.
Trying to burn it through his head, you know, most important thing is doing the exact same thing over and over again.
Right.
Well, let's see, as Ted Nugent would say, we are cock-locked and ready to rock, Doc.
Yes, sir. Ready for another podcast?
Yeah, speaking of Ted Nugent, I don't know if I ever told you about my prom date.
I have a feeling you're about to.
Yeah, I had a buddy call. Well, actually, I had a prom date, and it was like, gosh, it took me a lot to get the guts, if you will, to even ask this chick. And anyway, she said yes and everything. Everything's good. Got the tuxedo ready to go. Blah blah blah. Week before prom, a friend was visiting that used to, you know, that I grew up with. It. He moved away. He gets a hold of me, you know, which is a lot back then.
Right.
You can't just text. Couldn't just text.
Right.
He says, hey, he goes, I'm going to be in town. You know, he goes, I got tickets to Ted Nugent. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, you know, when? And he told me prom night. So, you know, Ted Nugent, prom, Wango Tango. It was a Wango Tango tour. Anyway.
You're showing your age.
Yeah. I went and saw Ted.
Did you? Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
anyway, what's been going
on? Nothing. We're still kind of in the heat of shed season.
Yeah.
Sorry. And waiting for bear. Be able to bait.
We only got a few days
still.
left. Bear season starting.
A couple weeks, actually, isn't it?
No. Well, yeah, I guess.
Well, 10 days.
I hate the word weeks. I like days.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Sounds much
Yeah,
better.
gathering bait. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and raided. You got my text yesterday, huh?
Yes, I did.
Backed up to the Krispy Kreme donut dumpster because I was driving by.
Right.
Made sure the cameras blocked my vehicle, license plate, filled her up.
You're incriminating yourself right now, Daryl.
Yeah. I mean, I figured
dumpster diver Daryl.
I figured if they didn't want me there, that it came out because there's cameras there. But
yeah, save some room in their dumpster, probably.
Yeah, it was full. Wish I had a little more room. I could have got
Right.
more. But I was coming back from an archery shoot, so I was kind of, limited on space because
right.
I had the Forerunner.
So, by the way, this is early morning podcast.
Yeah.
So, this is it was supposed to be. We were trying to get this done early in the day because we had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But we had got kind of a slower start than we had planned on. But
Yeah.
whatever. That's just a side note.
Yeah.
See where our energy level's at today.
Well, I got a triple shot coffee going
Perfect.
on there,
Yeah.
so.
I'm about on my third cup now.
Are you?
Yeah. It's good stuff.
So yeah, I've been gathering bait. I know you're ready to get your popcorn popper out. So
Yeah,
am I.
I am. I'm excited. In fact, I'm getting it down today and starting to go to town on popcorn for the season. I kind of use a lot of that for baiting bears.
Getting some shooting done. I went to a 3D shoot to keep shooting this new equipment we got.
Yes, I was just getting ready to ask you that. I would ask you about that. How'd that go? We haven't really got to talk about that yet. How'd you shoot yesterday?
I didn't lose no arrows. It was
so
windy.
better than last week.
It was windy. Yeah, last week. Yeah, kind of being new to that adjustable sight, I kind of winged one.
Yeah.
I did forget to move my sight twice yesterday.
But
I mean, that's why I'm actually. It's been a lot of years since I've shot. You know, I shoot a lot more competition shoots, and because I'm using this slider, I want to go to as many as I can, just so it's more natural.
Get used to it.
Yeah, because even when you got time at a shoot to think about adjusting, it's when you're hunting. So, but I think I'll be fine by the time hunt season comes along. But it's fun. It is kind of nice. It's just different because I'm used to gapping pins and as opposed to actually sliding it to the exact yardage.
Right. And I've been sliding mine for the last few years, so it's a pretty easy transition for me.
Oh yeah.
Except for it's just a single pin.
Yeah.
So that will be a little bit of an adjustment for me, but shouldn't be bad.
Yeah, and I've a buddy I was shooting with. He's been shooting single pin forever. And he leaves his at 30, and then adjust it obviously when he needs to. But.
Right. I think I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but like the bear, my bait sight, you're shooting in my instance, it's 28 yards. So, I mean, that'll be easy just to leave it sat there. Yeah. And then antelope, you're hunting out of a blind, or we hunt out of a blind normally. So, you have, your shots are in the 20, well, off of my hill, they're typically in the 20, 25 range. That changes from year to year, but
depending on the water conditions.
You have time to range them and adjust, if they're drinking.
I know how many years I remember you guys seem like, and I'm not complaining one bit, but that blind just seemed like they were farther shots. It seemed like you try to set up in a certain, so I could cover that. Remember I had that trickle going from one end to the other.
Exactly.
And it seemed like it was always the 49 and 51.
Yeah, and it still can do that. It just depends on the water levels from any given year. Sometimes you get probably the last 3 or 4 years, the antelope I shot over those last 3 or 4 years, I haven't shot over. I think last year was my longest shot, and it was 22 yards. So, so that's not
the year
too
before
bad.
When you shot that really big buck when you woke up.
Yeah.
That wasn't that?
Actually, I think that was 22 yards too, or 20, maybe 25 yards.
Yeah.
I guess I can't remember. I'd have to look at the video, but yeah, it was right in that range too. I don't think it was more than, no, I think it was close to 20 yards. But my son-in-law, the one we were set up on last year, where that buck came in, he shot it at 16 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, I was getting back to I quit. I forgot to adjust my sight, and it was just on a little badger, I think it was. Yeah, and
at the 3D shoot you're talking about.
Yeah, the 3D shoot. Yeah, and I didn't do very good on that one there. But it makes you think. Then it's like, gosh dang, you got to make sure. The biggest thing is repetition. I took my future son-in-law was with me. First 3D shoot for him. So, he's learning obviously, and he hasn't been shooting a bow very long at all, but, trying to burn it through his head, most important thing is doing the exact same thing over and over again.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people get so hung up on, in fact, yesterday there was a couple people that just wanted to blow through the course.
Yeah.
And they want to go around you, and they're not taking their time at all to make sure. You could tell they're rushing their shots and everything. I mean, granted, I want to get done. I don't want to take forever, but also when I get up there, I really try hard to think about, your stance and everything, the whole repetition. Kind of like, when you're shooting indoor, you got a chance to really concentrate on all those because then it becomes second nature. So,
yeah, second nature is when it becomes automatic, it becomes a little easier to go through your whole progression.
I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised I wasn't seeing people shooting lighted nocks yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's right.
Oh, you can't yet.
Yeah, not till July 1st. Maybe that's why.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, legally, you could shoot them.
Yeah, just not at animals.
Just not for hunting. That's true. So it could be some people use them. I was talking to a buddy of mine about that, and so I know, you and I were talking about the lighted nocks.
Right.
And one thing he brought up, and I kind of forgot when he said it, sparked back in my brain, is the FOC. Making sure that's the only challenge it could be that people need to make sure that their FOC.
So people that don't know what FOC is.
Oh, front to center, the weight. You know,
Gotcha.
making sure that the front of the arrow and the back of the arrow is it's weighted in the right to mount, and you know it's going to take a little more work than just throwing a lighted knock
That's
on.
true.
You know?
Yeah, because they weigh more than a normal knock.
And it could change your spine, you
Right.
know, and so
something for
just
people
something
to think about.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause,
I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point.
yeah.
I don't know. You probably don't know either the weight difference between that and a normal knock. You know,
I want to say, gosh, I want to say they're probably closer to 20 grains, and then you know, maybe a little more than that. It seems like maybe more like 30 some grains. I guess you better not quote me on
right?
But I kind of decided when I started thinking about the FOC, I don't really want to change.
Yeah, that's something
change
to
a whole
think
lot
about,
of things
isn't it?
Yeah.
Dang it. Yeah. Huh.
Because, you know, if you shoot that for that, you're going to have to shoot it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Huh. Good points. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Maybe somebody will comment on that knows a little more than we do.
Yeah.
Help us out.
I do have some stuck away, and I thought I need to get them out and weigh them and see what the difference would be.
Right. It's a good idea. Shoot 'em.
That one buddy I was talking to, he's used them, tried them, and that's what he said. It just messed up his episode, but he's got a lot of experience with expandables and stuff too. So it was a good chat. We'll be having him on.
Okay.
Here for too long, not necessarily about that, but that and probably some other issues. I'm sure we'll talk about that because he's got a lot of good knowledge on that.
Right.
So
also this time of year, it's time for putting in for draw hunts.
Yeah, it's getting close.
And actually, some states it's already going, right?
Yeah, Arizona. Yep.
Wyoming, I think, is already going
for points and stuff.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Okay.
Colorado.
Do you put in for points for Colorado?
Yeah, got points going on in Colorado. I use Hunt and Full, and so I know I got a notice. I got the bill.
That's a notice.
Yeah, saying that about my license and stuff for there, and Arizona already, and Idaho. We got sheep. Put in for sheep now, goat or moose. And Did that start already? April 1st.
April 1st, okay.
I believe it is April 1st.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Putting in for.
I'm not putting in for any of those, so
No.
I didn't pay attention to the dates. I drew a moose tag several years ago, and I did put in for bighorn sheep last year, but didn't draw. But I don't know. I'm not. I would love to. I just feel like the odds are so low to draw. In Idaho, you can't put in for any other draws if you put in for like the trophy species like moose, bighorn sheep, mountain goat. Yeah.
And you can't put in for all three.
Right.
You put in for one and done.
One and done. No points. It's just a random draw.
Yeah.
But which is okay.
How many years did you put in for moose before you drew?
One.
Serious?
Yeah, I drew the first time
You're that guy?
I am that guy.
Man.
Yeah, so it spoils you, though. You think, oh, this is easy. I have never drawn. I put in for goats. I put in for sheep. And
you put in for goats, too, then?
I have, but only a couple times. It's just, I really would love to, but at the same time, I want to draw a good elk tag or deer tag. Yeah. So that always kind of draws me away. Which it probably honestly draws a lot of people away.
Oh, yeah. I do kind of like that part about it, honestly. Because it only makes the guys that are really serious about, I want to draw this, I want to draw that.
Exactly. And it keeps you, and you're not getting the points. So it keeps those guys away too.
Yeah.
Which, would be me probably. But
you're that guy too.
I am. No. But so I think that's cool. That if they're not going to give out points, that's a great way to do it, in my opinion. Because
I'd rather keep it like this for now.
Me too. I don't want points. Yeah. I mean, that's been discussed lots of times on lots of podcasts and that kind of thing. But yeah, I like the way it's set up here in Idaho.
I'm going to put in for sheep now that my knee's to the point.
Feeling better.
I can get, because held off for a few years, couple years at least. But
well, hopefully you'll draw. I'll come film.
It took me, took me 8 years to draw a goat. Watched that one goat for 7 years.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah.
And you shot that with your bow too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First day.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll see how the sheep thing goes. But
yeah. How'd the goat, like, I want to hear that story actually.
Yeah, I actually spotted it elk hunting. Spotted him elk hunting. No, I think I put in, let's see, was it, maybe I put in 9 years. I think I put in 2 years in other units. And then after I found that goat, and I was just elk hunting, looked up and, oh, there's a goat. And then didn't think that much of it. And I thought the next year, I thought, maybe I'll start putting in this area. Saw what the tags, there was 2 tags was all. And so I thought, I'll put in for there. So I put in. Next year, went back elk hunting. And I did shoot my bull, I remember the first day that year. But I glanced up there with a tripod. Goats laying in the same spot.
Really?
Yeah. And then, long story short, I kept putting in, for, like I said, several years. And the kind of funny thing was, or not really that funny, because I've looked down to where I wanted to camp. I knew where I wanted to camp and everything when I drew. And there was always water down there. So I finally drew it. My nephew goes with me. He's going to go film. And I get down to where the camp was. We came over the hill. I had my llamas. We took my llamas. And there's no water down there that year. It's dry. Never, ever seen it dry before until that year. And we had our bladders full of water. That was it. But we were planning on staying for days. And in fact, I went up scouting, I think, one time and never saw a goat. And then I was actually helping with a hunt of a lifetime, an elk hunt. And a friend of mine who was hunting close to there called me up and said, hey, I found your goat, same spot, blah, blah, blah. So I knew the goat was around. So I told my nephew, and we loaded up and went in there. And like I says, we got in there, no water at all. I'm thinking, what are we going to do now? I knew there was water over the hill, but it was going to be 2 miles or so to go get water, which would have been fine. And it was an old sheep herder's camp. And there was like a little table there and an old stove, part of a stove, and a 2-gallon, I think it was about a 2-gallon jug of oil, like cooking oil, that had been cleaned out. And it had water in it.
Okay.
Granted, it was a little green. But I said, well, let's just pump that water into I had a 2-gallon little container, a collapsible one.
Right.
That I would fill up, for camp.
Okay.
So I pumped that one out, and then because of the size, and it just would fit better in the pack.
So you pumped it out, like filtered it?
Filtered it out of that
Okay,
yellow
gotcha.
container into mine, and then we were going to take that yellow container and go fill it up over in the spring. And then that's when we were actually really going to start hunting then, because looking up, I couldn't see any goats anywhere. Mm-hmm. But we got to the saddle to crest over to go down in the next canyon where that spring was. So we're a mile from camp and look back over. There's the goat. It was about a 3-mile just bowl that we had to go. We jumped on the other side of it, went all the way around, and I think spotted him at 8 in the morning, and I shot him at 4:30.
Oh, nice.
So never had to go get water.
Right.
I end up, cleaning out that. We end up emptying most of our water to. When we left, we had just enough water to get back down to the truck, because I wanted to fill that back up so the next guy.
Right. Good idea.
I'm assuming cached it there for a rainy day.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Interesting. So.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was kind of quick, the first day and everything, but pretty rewarding to get it with my bow. One thing I told myself, many people have says, "Oh, you can take a gun too." It's like, nope.
Right.
Not even gonna take a gun because I know me. I know it'd just be too easy to.
Right. I think most people that would probably make that decision.
Yeah.
To shoot it with a gun.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're not even gonna take.
I would also be that guy.
You would have.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell you how many people have ran into that said they were gonna shoot it with their bow. And then not that I'm anything great by no means at all, but I know me. I mean, I know, even though, I'm certainly favor archery hunting.
Right.
It'd be hard not to, once in a lifetime,
exactly.
They're going to get away. And
feel like you got to get it done.
Yeah. But I know you and I've talked about it. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast yet, but that most of the time these trophy animals, especially sheep and goat, because they get virtually no pressure, in a lot of situations, they're not like super, super skittish. They're not as skittish as people think they are.
Okay.
I think it took, I think the goat he bumped just a little bit, not much.
Okay.
And, but I was still able to put a sneak on him and get a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. They aren't. I think moose are that way too. I've been on a handful of moose hunts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they don't seem to be too
Yeah.
too worried about.
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That one you were guiding for that young kid, he bounced out of there.
Yeah, I knew if I got upwind of him that he might. It wasn't because of my funk or anything, but I knew if he smelled me, he might get out of there. But I was trying to make a little noise and stuff too.
That's true. Yeah, we were trying to
get him to come out.
That
plan worked. That couldn't have worked any better, that plan.
It was perfect. And honestly, that little kid, I think he was 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Like that, yeah.
And he made a great shot.
All three times.
Yeah, he was running, not like full speed, but he was on the trot, and he plugged him pretty good. And it was, I can't remember, it was a decent distance. I mean, it was.
Within, it was probably 200 yards or so.
I'm thinking it was right at 200, somewhere in there.
Running,
I can't remember
it's not like at his age. It's not. I'm sure he didn't have a ton of experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that was the first day too, huh?
Was the first day. Yeah, they were super stoked with the outcome of that. That was kind of fun. I filmed that hunt. Daryl and Joe Barati guided that hunt, and so anyway, I went tagged along, filmed, and we have that on the YouTube channel. So I'll leave that link. Down below, but that was a fun hunt. Yeah, big deal.
I guided a bit on a few sheep hunts, but I've been the main guide on a couple. And I remember one of them when I was scouting. I was able to do a lot of scouting. It was down in Nevada, and it was during a mule deer hunt. I guided a couple of mule deer hunt, antelope hunt, and then a mule deer hunt. And the mule deer hunt, it was really warm that time of year. It was in October that year. I would hunt in the morning and then would go kind of scout a little bit and this client I told him, I had a sheep hunter coming up, and we both knew it was pretty tough to hunt during the day because it was super warm. Mm-hmm. And all it took was him to see one sheep. And it was almost like he was looking more forward to going and looking for sheep than he was even his hunt.
That's funny.
And he ended up coming back. That hunt went on till November, almost November, his hunt. And he initially hunted the first week. And then he actually rebooked another week, the last week. And ended up killing a really nice buck. So he didn't seem too concerned with not hunting early,
Right.
We'd go scout sheep all day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Fun.
You have any other states that you think you might have a chance to draw this year?
Let's see. Yeah, well, I got like 6 points for Iowa, and I would have drawn, but I decided to get another point.
Oh, okay.
Just because my buddy, he's an outfitter, and he's pretty booked up this year.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got a hold of him and let him know, my points were, he's like, man, I'm really booked. He goes, I can squeeze you in, and I says, why don't we just wait till next year?
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm going to put in. I just don't want to. It's his business. It's
Sure.
livelihood, and he's a friend of mine too. So it's
right.
like I said, it's just no big deal. So
Right.
I'll probably wait till next year there in Iowa. Arizona, you never know if I'm going to draw or not. I didn't draw elk there.
Oh yeah, that's out already.
Yeah, that one's out. And then I just got points in Wyoming. I put in for. I didn't know about Utah. I think it's coming up, but I put in for hunts there. I didn't just buy points this year.
Oh, okay.
Last year, because I was so busy with remodeling houses and stuff
Sure.
that I didn't. I just got points for the most part, except for I know California. I put in for Tule elk, and like that unit I put in, they have 2 tags, so it's going to be challenging to draw. But one of the tags is for the points part, and then one's just a random draw.
Oh.
So I didn't want to miss out on the random draw because you never know.
Right. So this is your first time putting in for that?
Oh, no.
Oh,
I've been putting in for, I think I've, may not ever draw that one. You never know, though. This is year 5 or 6. But a good buddy of mine, he drew it the first year he put in.
Really?
The random one.
Yeah.
With a unit that only has 2 tags.
That's
also. It's a
crazy.
different area, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you just never know.
Right.
I mean, you just never know.
That's pretty cool.
I had one sheep hunter one time in Nevada who'd been first year he put in as a non-resident. But, I mean, that's just...
What are the odds, right?
Yeah.
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 I am still trying to draw. I didn't think it would be this hard, but an antelope tag in Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
I have 9 points this year.
Oh.
And
do you know what it usually takes for that?
well, Frank drew it with 3 points. But I think Nevada's getting harder and harder to draw.
Yeah.
And that is we like to hunt a archery, but we messed up when we first started putting in, and we're like, what the heck? We'll just anyway. We were putting in for the rifle tag, which is harder to draw.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, screw it. I'll just keep putting in for the rifle tag.
Oh, okay.
I haven't shot one with a rifle in 20-something years, so I thought that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, they got some good goats down there.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many points I got down there too. So I've got I think 12 points for elk. In Nevada.
Yeah.
Probably 6 or 7 for antelope and 4 or 5 for deer. Goat I put in down there, and sheep, but goat they don't allow non-residents to put in every year. It's like when the goat numbers, I believe the way it is, if when the goat numbers are up high enough and they can give enough tags, they'll allow non-residents that year. So you never know from year to year.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I want to say I got 9 points for sheep and only like 5 or 4 for goat.
Oh, I see.
Just because of that. And I've been putting in the same amount of time.
Yeah. I think I have 6 or 7 points for mule deer down there. I've drawn that hunt a few times, actually. I think 3 different times. Shot some decent bucks down there. That's kind of a fun hunt.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But it's been a while now, so.
Yeah, the at least for me, time to make it a good quality hunt.
Right.
I mean, I know if I really wanted to, I could draw several tags every year.
Yeah.
But making it, and there'd be some pretty good units, but making it a good quality hunt and taking the right amount of time. And I know you can e-scout to a point, and probably do okay. But I'd rather almost take 10 days and have one really good hunt than have 2 hunts and only get to hunt 5 or 6 days each.
That's a good point.
Because, yeah. I remember years ago in Nevada, the first year I actually got a tag, you're talking about how it's kind of more challenging to hunt Nevada or draw Nevada.
Yeah.
First year I hunted down there, a buddy of mine that lives down there, he's like, hey, you should get a tag, an archery tag, come down here. I'm like, don't you have to draw? And he goes, at that particular year, okay, they had drew the archery deer hunt for that unit. I'm not going to say the unit because this is what ended up happening was they had like it was a little bit over 100 tags left over. So it went into a second draw. Drew it again. There was still like 60 some tags left over.
Jeez.
So I just went and bought one, like over the counter.
Gotcha. Yeah.
First come, first serve type thing. That year, a couple articles were written about that unit. And now this would have been like 2005 or 6. 2006. It was 2006. That year, some articles were put out, and ever since then, it never makes it past the first draw on that unit.
Yeah,
and probably a lot of units there. But
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
But yeah, that unit just got blowed up by, and this was for social media, was really big. So just in magazines.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, and I think all the just the hype around, like all the YouTube videos and stuff that are made about hunting in different states and this, and I don't know if it matters what unit number it is or whatever. It's just more people are putting in for out of state hunts.
Yeah.
Because they see, that success on TV and they want to go do that, which is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're in the situation, every year I feel how blessed we are to able to go hunting and everything like we do. And there's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate, enough to, in their states.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. Nevada, I don't know how I would feel about living there. It's hard. If you don't draw, you don't hunt.
Yeah.
And that would be horrible. I guess that's why I like
be in Idaho, or try to get a tag in Idaho.
Right. Exactly.
And now the way the Idaho,
they changed
where you got to be there, Johnny on the spot at whatever time it is, and get your license.
Stuff is gone in a hurry, huh? Man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for.
Yeah.
I mean, can't tell you how many people I've talked to that called me up, friends that live out of state, that I was when I finally got through, I was number 7,643 in the queue.
Right. Yeah. I had some family members that kind of went through that as well.
This year?
This year. Yeah.
They get tags?
One of them did. I can't remember where he told me. He wasn't coming here. He's going somewhere up north or central. I'm not sure where, but, he did get a tag, or at least I'm assuming he did, because he was really low in the queue number wise. He was low enough to where he was going to get a tag, and then
I do have a friend actually that's trying to get rid of a tag that he drew it, and I called Fish and Game to find out. I just told him I'd do a little footwork for him, and he can basically sign over the tag, I guess, for lack of better words. There's a little procedure you have to go through.
Oh, okay.
And which is kind of cool. I mean, then you can, instead of going through, it's a little bit of a process, but he'll be able to get his money. No, I think he'll be able to get something back, but maybe it's not his money. I don't know. I can't remember for sure, but
interesting. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
But I know he can, turn it back. So
does he give it back to the Fish and Game then, or
I think he can pretty much say who he gives it to.
I see. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
But the problem is most of the time it's probably going to be one tag here, one tag there. You're probably not going to get a group tag.
No, that's for sure. It seems like that's kind of gone by the wayside. Do the family hunting thing
a
lot of times. Idaho, I mean, we still can do it here.
What can we get? 4 people can put in? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, you can do that. I'm sorry, yeah, you can do group hunts, but I mean, as far as just getting to go hunt with a big group of people.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, when hunting blacktails growing up, we'd have the whole family would be around. It was a big event for a lot of people, but I don't know, you don't get to see that too much
resident
anymore.
I mean, I guess still
you still can, yeah. I don't think the hunting, the general tags aren't as good at hunting, but at least you can still do it.
There's still some people that pull some dang good bucks off of those general tags.
You're right.
Which we're going to be talking to one pretty soon.
What's that?
We got a guy coming on here pretty soon that's going to talk to us about some mule deer hunting. That's
going to be fun.
Yeah, did quite well.
Yeah. So, I haven't done. Last year I had a rough over-the-counter tag season for deer. Could not find anything. Couple even the small bucks I only saw a few. I don't know.
How's the pressure?
Pretty pressured. The one area I really like to hunt, I didn't see anybody else up there, but I was only able to hunt it. It closes at a different time, earlier, about a week earlier than the other general hunt that I hunt. So I only had a day or two, and it was actually I only had one day, and it was snowing so hard I couldn't see anything. So I left, and then I never did.
Abort mission,
yeah. So I never really got to hunt that spot, but I've killed bucks in there several times. So I feel like I probably would have again. There was no one in there, which was kind of cool.
Are you gonna put in for muzzleloader this year?
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah. Well, one of my favorites. They're all my favorites, I guess. But I do enjoy hunting with a muzzleloader. I do wish we had a few more opportunities to do it here.
Yeah.
But in Idaho, I'm gonna put in for both. I think elk and deer muzzleloader hunts that I've drawn in the past and have done really well on. So that's a plan. That's kind of why I decided not to go for the bighorn sheep again this year, because I missed putting in for those.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully we draw.
The sheep hunt that I'm going on, the sheep hunt I'm going on, because I'm going to draw a tag.
There's confidence right there.
Same thing with it. I want to take a gun.
You are or aren't? No. Yeah.
Nope. And I know that's saying a lot.
Right.
Because I think I just...
Be kicking yourself.
No. People have done it before. That's the way I look at it. If someone else has done it.
It's true.
It's just a matter of
it can be
putting
done.
In the time and the attitude, the mental attitude of saying I'm going to do it.
Going to get it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they had just like an archery only hunt for those that might be a little easier to draw.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Now, it probably might even be a harder one to draw, because it'd be people from everywhere putting in for that.
That's true too. Yeah, it's a good point.
But so that'll be about it for me. We'll see what happens with the draws all come out.
It's always that anxious time of year now.
I know.
Thank goodness for, shed hunting and turkey hunting and bear hunting in the spring. It kind of keeps your mind off of waiting to see what you draw or whatever. It makes
around 4th of July. I know, it's usually around 4th of July. It seems like when you find out about the general hunts
here.
Yeah. I'll put in for a couple unlimited, hunts and that you'll draw.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that is another kind of cool thing is Idaho does is there are areas, they're not technically general hunts, you have to draw them, but they're unlimited, so really you put in for the tag and you're going to get it.
But most of those went to first choice now.
They have to be now, yeah.
A lot of people, what they would do is they would put in for a tough deer hunt, let's say, and then their second choice was unlimited.
Right.
And was it last year was the first year they did that?
It was.
Yeah, last year they made, because it was always like a backup. And so now they're making that unlimited hunt.
Right.
Got to be your first choice.
Exactly. And honestly,
I kind of think that's good.
I think it's good too, that I'm not sure. The downside to it, what I saw last year, at least on the antelope side, was the hardcore antelope hunters. They're not going to put in for the draws because they want to hunt antelope.
Yeah.
Right. So they're gonna put in for the unlimited draw instead of the limited.
Yeah.
And then use unlimited, as a second choice, which I think a lot of guys did. I quit doing that. I did it for a while, but just for my schedule and stuff, the time frame worked better for me anyway. Yeah. So I always put in for that. Plus, it was kind of during the rut for antelope, so better hunting.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, I think I saw more people hunting last year than I normally do, because I think everybody that really, really wants to hunt antelope, they're not putting in for those unlimited draws now. So it almost might make the unlimited or the limited draws easier to draw now. Who knows?
That's true.
I don't know, because not as many people are putting in for them because they want to hunt antelope.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so I think this year will tell too. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
How the season goes this year. But
we need to take a ride out for too long and check water.
Yep. It's getting close to that too.
Just to kind of keep it just like, I know we still got some time left, and we still got some rains, I'm sure. Hopefully.
Sure. Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's nice to see what holes have water in them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can kind of you've been out there especially long enough that you kind of know, okay, if this has this much water, it's going to be there by time antelope season starts. And that one hole you've been hunting, the one that you hunt mostly.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's really changed a lot in the last few years, hasn't it? Because forever, wasn't it a pretty big pond?
It was a big pond, and then it ran down. It ran down way, 300 yards. So you really had to decide where you were going to set up on that hole. And there's a lot of times, you'd have antelope come in, and they'd be way too far out of range for you to shoot at. And you're like, dang it.
And then 2 years ago, it turned into just a little seep or a little overflow out of the tire, and then a wallow.
Right.
That's
So it didn't even make it. So there's a big tire that the water starts in, and then it's piped into the actual hole. And there wasn't enough water to even make it to the hole. It would come out of the pipe, and there was just a little spot there, which actually worked out really good.
That's right. Didn't an elk make a wallow out of it, and that's what made that?
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, when I went and checked on it at first, I was like, oh man, there's just barely wet here. And I didn't know that antelope would even hit it at all. And then right before season, I went and checked it again because I was going to hunt a different hole. And a bull had wallowed in there and made it more than adequate size for an antelope to get a drink out of. So I'm like, well, if they come in, I know exactly where they're going to drink at. So so that's sat up on that, and that's when, was it me? Yeah. No, it was me and Frank. Frank and I went out there.
Yeah.
And
both killed them.
Yeah, both killed them early.
The cool thing about, I remember you had really no clue how big for sure that buck was.
Right.
You saw horns, you woke up.
Right. So the story is, I actually was at work until 2 a.m. and then I got off work. Frank met me at my house, and we loaded up. We got out there, got our stuff set up. We already had our blinds and whatnot set up, but we got all our stuff unloaded to camp and whatnot. And it was already daylight. No, we didn't sleep at all. No, we got out there. It was daylight already, just barely. It was just cracking daylight. So we got our stuff done, and we got in the blind late, and I sat there for a while, and of course, the adrenaline wears off, and I fell asleep, and I wake up, and there's a doe and a fawn, and then another antelope that had its head down in the drinking, and the grass was tall enough.
Size-wise, though, you could tell it was a buck. Huh?
I assumed it was, yeah, but he did raise his head for just a split second, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to shoot that, but I didn't know how big he was.
That was a dandy buck.
Yeah. So anyway, I just shot him, and he didn't even go 2 yards. He just piled up right there, and ended up being like one of the biggest bucks I've shot.
Yeah,
so
that was the cool part. It was like, surprise.
Exactly. Yeah, I was so stoked when I saw him. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good buck.
Yep. So that was fun. But yeah, it's different every year out there.
It just seems like that spot for some reason is
that one
really,
particular hole.
It really changed was it last year? There was just the tire just had water.
Exactly. Yeah. So nothing was even coming. In fact, the water was turned off. So the tire was getting low. And
you were concerned if there was even going to be enough, if antelope were even going to be.
Right. And there was enough.
Then we put a trail cam on there. Huh?
We did. We put a trail camera on there, and we knew there was a pretty good buck hitting it. And my son-in-law, it was his first year archery hunting. So, I was definitely going to let him, hunt that. So I just sat in there and filmed for him. And but the day we sat, we weren't sure. The water had went down enough that we weren't sure if they could even drink out of it.
Oh, reach
it, yeah. But we decided to set it anyway. And we had a buck come in finally. Not much hit it, honestly. We saw a couple other antelope come in earlier, but they never even drank out of it. And then this buck came in, the one that we saw in the trail cam picture, which was really cool. And he was struggling to reach. He was pawing, trying to get up high enough to get a drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, I'll have that video linked too. But and he shot him. And it was like 16 yards. It was really cool. Wow. And he smoked him. So he was awesome. Pretty stoked.
That was a dandy buck too.
Pretty good. Yeah, not great for prongs, but man, anybody would. I would have shot him, and I've shot lots of bucks, So
I love antelope meat, and I really do. And that time of year, because it is in September, I don't want to take a ton of time,
right?
Because I got other things to do,
right?
But it's just you still gotta. So I'm not as picky probably as.
But you've shot some really good bucks.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining at all. But it's just part of it was just being fortunate, I guess, to have them come in. Because there's many times where I'm like, I'm shooting the first thing that comes in. And I was going to. One year I remember I think the first day I said, I'll hunt 2 days. And the first day I was picky and I passed up a couple smaller bucks. And then the next day it was anything goes. And those same 2 small bucks came in, and I was going to shoot either one of them, and none of them presented a shot for me, a good shot.
Gotcha.
And then a nice one ended up coming in, and I killed it a lot bigger and gave me a shot. So, but you just never know. Right. You never know, because that time of year they're running around and the rut's going on, so they're chasing does and snorting and everything.
You never know when they're going to. How long they're going to be in a hole either. Yeah. With that rut going on. And
I don't know if you remember a couple of years before that, I was going to hunt a day and a half. I was going to hunt till noon the second day. And then I was leaving to go elk hunting the next day.
Right.
And I started tearing everything down. It was just getting close to noon on the second day. And that was the year I had a couple of range bulls, and they were bedded right by the water there.
Oh, right.
And a buck, 2 does, and 2 fawns came in, and one of them stood up, which got him edgy, the antelope edgy. And just when they were literally getting ready to start drinking, the bull just kind of moved really quick to maybe get a fly off or something,
Yeah.
And they took off running. And I'm thinking, well, that's it. And it's probably pushing noon,
Yeah.
So I started tearing everything down, and that was the year I didn't get real good footage for you, because I tore everything down, was stuffing it away and everything, and it was probably 10 till noon, and that buck and those does and those fawns were out there 400 yards, 500 yards, walking away.
Yeah.
And as I'm gathering stuff up, all of a sudden I look up and here comes the 2 fawns running in, and they ran into the very bottom of the seep, which sometimes they creep down there.
Yep.
And they started drinking, and I look back over there and through my binoculars, and the buck's looking back, but the does are going the other way, and he turns and starts walking. So I figured, it's done. Show's over.
Right.
And took my microphone off, the shotgun mic off the camera, was putting it away, and all of a sudden I hear something running, and I look up, and here's the buck. And So I had to put my release on, get an arrow out of the quiver because my arrows are back in the quiver. And didn't even think about the camera. I wasn't think I would just happen to quick. And I honestly thought it was going to be a relatively quick shot. I didn't think he was going to hang out. I was hoping he was going to stop. But I really thought he was just going to gather up those fawns. And he pushed the fawns aside and started drinking. And I drew back and shot. And then I remember the camera and I turned it on. If you remember, I just caught him as he fell.
Right. Oh, that was it. I do remember that. That's funny.
So, yeah, you never know. There's a lot. That was bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
Right.
Bases loaded.
Yeah.
Full count.
Right. Yeah, that's and that honestly, gosh, we're talking antelope. Man, I could talk all day about that. But that you don't normally go that deep into the season. Don't have to a lot of times to shoot a decent antelope. So
yeah,
it's kind of fun. I love that's one of my favorite hunts every year. It's just I think mainly it's because it's pretty chill and relaxed. And there's a few of us there. Most of the time I hunt by myself, but that hunt I always.
But there's a group usually, and you have a good.
We have a great time. Yeah, we set up a decent camp for out in the middle of nowhere, and we usually 3 or 4 nights. Yeah, we do. We literally take a lawnmower and mow the weeds down, so you're not walking through that all the time when we're camping and everything. But it's just I just use it as it's really our first hunt of the year, and we just
as a group because you're usually bear hunting.
Well, that's true. Yeah, first hunt of this fall, I should say.
Yeah.
So, but it's really the only time I really hunt with other people. So we just have a good time with it, and probably spend more time out there than we need to, but we don't care. We just want to go have some fun.
Yeah, there's really not there's other stuff going on, but it seems like when you're prepping for that, because you usually go before the season.
Yes.
And no other season's going on yet.
Exactly.
And then by the time it gets here, elk and deer are going on.
That's true. Yeah, that's the hard thing, and we've talked about that already, but the elk hunting, it definitely makes it challenging to do both of them,
Yeah.
And that's the hard part about spending, we'll spend 3 or 4 days out there, and we typically do that before we go elk hunting, and so I usually wait till towards the end of the elk season just to get a big hunt in.
Yeah, I spent countless nights in my blind, sleeping in my blind.
Yeah.
Because I was only going to have a day or whatever to go out there, and I'm thinking, man, I really want to do, I've been able to jump in on a couple of your group hunts when they're there, but a lot of times my schedule, I just kind of pepper in when I can.
Right.
So it hasn't worked out. So I figure I'm just going to sleep in my blind, which is quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, usually, and I've had to do, I've done later hunts, it doesn't always work out every year where you can go, you all get together or whatever, but, in years past, I've just slept in the back of my truck. I think I'd rather do that than sleep in my blind, but
I probably should too, but yeah.
And then just walk in the morning, but yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about sleeping in that blind.
It's
so hard to
tall
stay
as
in
I'm
there.
Not.
Right? True.
I got to kind of sleep at an angle. And
Yeah, that can't be fun. You get cold in that thing?
No, I got a really good bag, and I'm I usually take my iPad. It's charged up.
Got you.
So I can watch a movie and And
what do you do? So do you take your? I guess I've never asked you this before. Do you take your bag? You just must set it on the outside of your blind during the day.
No, I usually this depends. Sometimes I'll just sit on it.
Oh, okay.
More padding to sit on.
That's a good point.
Because I always have a chair in there, but a lot of times I just sitting in a chair for. You know what? I mean, I've been really fortunate because I haven't had to spend gobs of time sitting. True. So, but when I do, I'll sit, and then sometimes I'll sit up or lay down kind of, I've taken plenty of naps. And yeah. And the thing about antelope too is that you might not see anything, and I'll look around, I'll take a complete scan, take a complete scan all the way around, and then set my alarm for 15 minutes and try to get a nap in. And I can't tell you how many times I've woke up and there's been antelope just about ready to water or on their way in.
Right.
But so you can't sleep, you can't nap very long. That's for sure.
You don't, and when you do, you don't sleep. You typically don't sleep very good because you're so worried about missing something.
I do remember one time waking up, and to the sounds of feet coming out of mud. You know, that kind of sloppy sound.
Yep.
And I heard that noise, and I looked up, and by the time I actually got up where I could see out, it was the buck I wanted. Because I was kind of hoping that buck would come in.
Got you.
And he's walking away.
Oh,
Never could get a shot at him. He just walked away with black feet.
It makes you wonder how many you've slept through.
I know.
I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, yeah. 100% it has, yeah.
Oh.
But, yeah, another fun hunt to come up to. I might try to draw. I'm going to probably put in for antelope in Nevada. Like I said, a lot of times I'll just
get the points.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing in Wyoming for all the species. I've just been buying points.
Aren't you going to try to put in that this
I'm not.
year?
I think I'm going to wait another year.
Oh.
I just, time-wise, I don't know if I can make it all make sense. I keep thinking I'm going to draw that Nevada one. So between Idaho and Nevada, I just don't know if I could. I would love to hunt all 3 states for antelope in the same year, but but I just don't think I can make it happen. So it's just I think the timing
Dang
would
jobs,
not work.
huh?
I know, right? It's dumb. Jobs are dumb. Only in the fall.
Yeah, especially in the fall. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I think I'm just gonna get points until I end up drawing Nevada, and then I'll start putting in. I should be able to draw Wyoming pretty easily at that point.
You got enough points racked up, huh?
Well, I don't think I do yet. Maybe for the special draw, but I think I've only got 3 or 4 points in Wyoming. I guess it depends on where you want to hunt.
Oh.
I'm not super familiar with Wyoming, as the draw system and stuff and the units.
Your son lives there, so he's been helping you with the points.
He has, yeah. But he's only been there a few years, so he doesn't, he hasn't been super helpful yet. But he at least knows where to go when I finally draw. He's shot a couple antelope there already and a nice bull elk, and he hasn't had any luck drawing a mule deer tag yet, so he hasn't got to do that. But
I tell you, if it wasn't for like hunting full, for me at least, I'd have a wreck. I've had a wreck in the past, and I've lost points. In another state. I remember I lost. I can't remember how many. It was several points.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like 6 or 7 points in Wyoming for moose.
Oh wow!
And I lost all my, but one of them was moose. But I lost all my points because I forgot to put. I missed deadlines.
Right.
Same thing in Arizona. I missed deadlines, and you just forget.
It's true.
So that's really been a good thing for me because I never miss. I never miss them anymore. You just get the notice.
Right.
That it's coming up, which is nice to. The only state I don't have them do is Idaho, just because I live here, and that one always changes. But I get together with them in January, and they send you out the form of what you want to put in for. And so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I should probably use a service like that myself, but I don't know why I don't.
Yeah, if you don't miss times, then that's...
Yeah, I haven't, but it is... I can definitely see where it would be helpful.
You put in for how many states?
I only do Idaho, Nevada, and Wyoming. Okay. That's it.
I think I put in for around 7 or 8 states, something like that. So it does... I need it.
It would be way helpful for that, yeah.
Especially because some of the states you put in certain time of the year for certain species, and then another part of the year other species.
That's true. Yeah, Wyoming's that way.
Yeah,
I think you have put in for.
So is Arizona.
Right? Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, that I know of. I mean, there might be some of these other states might be the same way too, but I haven't. Because when I did start with hunting fool, that's when I started putting in for even more, Colorado has some states because I'm like, well,
why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, someday I'll use them.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, anyway, we're
about
a wrap there.
I think so. Yeah.
Did we talk about anything we were thinking of?
I don't think we ever talk about anything that we're planning on.
I really hope we get some feedback on. I hope we're not putting people to sleep.
Right.
I mean, I enjoy our talks and stuff.
I do too.
I think next episode we are going to talk about gear, because we did actually say let's talk about gear.
We did, didn't we? I forgot about that. Yeah, that'd probably be a good thing to talk about for sure.
Yeah. So.
And whatever, we'll get it fit in there.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching again. Appreciate you.
Like and subscribe, and we got more swag coming out pretty soon.
Yes, we do. That's another
Season
project.
Hunter shirts and stuff.
Some Season Hunter shirts, some new designs for the Sageback Outdoors stuff and the Idaho stuff, and we keep ourselves busy with lots of little projects. So
cool. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Man.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.